As a child, we all long for a hero. As a society as a whole, we search for that leader that can be our hero. But as we mature and as we grow, it dawned on us that the hero is inside every one of us. And in the world's social media, we all start at zero. And slowly we search deep within ourselves to find who we are. And we have that moment of truth where we embrace that the hero that we've been searching for has been there all along. It is living deep inside of every one of us. And we start embracing that journey and we become that hero that we search for.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 57 of Zero to Hero. We've got another great guest coming at you. She's got a great story, and she runs, in my opinion, two of the most interesting businesses that we have here in Kansas City. Her name is Paige White. She is the founder and owner of KC Cocktail Company and the Snickety Snack Bar. So let's go ahead and bring her in. Paige, how are you?
I am so good. Thank you for having me. And that intro gives you all the feels.
Yeah, he did a good job on it. It's a good one. So, Paige, before we get into, talking about you, tell us a little bit about KC Cocktail Company and the Snickety Snack Bar. What are you guys doing over there?
Oh, man, we're having a lot of fun. I'll tell you that much for sure. KC Cocktail is a mobile bartending business, and there's some really great ones here in Kansas City that I've been able to partner with, but we think we're a little bit different in the sense that I specialize in creating beautiful, delicious craft cocktails, and we cater it to what you want, what your desires are. We come up with some fun ideas. I've got a menu that you can choose from, but we try to be super creative. And then providing exceptional customer service. I spent 27 years in the restaurant industry, and 9 of that being at Capital Grille. So if you know much about Capital Grille, you know it's top-notch customer service. So I've been able to extend that. So KC Cocktail has lots of bar options, which is kind of fun. I think, we were mentioning I've just launched a mobile horse trailer bar. Horse trailer just basically turned into a bar. There's a couple here in Kansas City, which is kind of fun. And we've got a front serving station. One of the unique things about my bar that I'm going to have is the back end of the horse trailer bar actually becomes a platform.
Oh, that's so cool.
So it can be another bar, or I'm going to have the guy that built the Snickety Snack Bar create a Snickety Snack Bar at the back end so you can have drinks and food. And then I have some satellite bars. I've got a couple little Q bars. If you guys look at my social, you'll be able to see they've got some umbrellas. I've got lots of different umbrella colors so it can match your and that's for the KC Cocktail. So it can match your theme, or I've got some for baby showers, whatever you're looking for. And then a couple of other bars that are a little bit more masculine. And then our cute little bubble bars actually have taps. So we tap all of our craft cocktails for larger organizations and groups and events so that we can get people through the line quickly. But if you have a small event, we'll handcraft things. So that's kind of the gist of KC Cocktail. There's obviously a lot more to it, and I can talk about it forever. But and then Snickety Snack Bar came about because, I'll be honest with you, people drink a lot. And I found the need to have some snacks. So I did a little bit of research, try to see if anything in Kansas City was like it. And I'll be honest, there is nothing like it in Kansas City. And there's very few places like it actually in the United States. The people that I followed on social media, one was from Mexico, one was from Spain.
Wow.
And yeah, I reached out to them on social media. That's the beautiful part about social media, right? You can reach people across the country, and they were generous with their time and chatted with me a little bit about the setup, their pricing, their bar, how they created it. And so I kind of took some stuff from that and had it built from a guy here in Kansas City who is a major, he's an amazing builder. That's not actually what he does for a trade, but he's so good. And we've got several different bar options to choose from. Although you can kind of create your own, if you will. They're snack bars. And what I mean by that is I'm not trying to be anybody's meal, if you will.
Right.
But
You're
we've
not
got,
catering. You're providing. It's a snack bar, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah. I mean,
yeah,
I've got my catering license, if you will, but
sure.
I'm not cooking red meat. I'm not doing a taco bar. Could I? Sure. Maybe one day down the road. But the cooking I do is I bake cookies and brownies. I bake pretzels. I guess the one thing that I cook the most is baked potatoes. So I've got a baked potato bar, mashed potato bar, a hot dog bar, ice cream sundae. So that's real fun for like late night snacks. Kids
Yeah.
parties can do that too. My most popular is probably our sweet and salty, but you could just do sweet or just do salty. And then I just launched a mini pancake bar. So I have my first event Thursday with that. So I look forward to taking some pictures, and a yogurt parfait bar. So you could choose lots of yogurts, different kinds of granola. So that's a lot of fun. But I serve for about a 2-hour window. Gino, we're not there all night. We come in, we provide everything for you, and that's for both businesses. And that's what I really like to tell people. We provide everything: the cups, the napkins, the straws, the ice, the coolers. The only thing we don't provide with Casey Cocktail is the liquor. And the Snickety Snack, we provide everything, 100%, even attendance to serve. So nobody even has to serve. We get in, we serve you, we're out. It's a lot of fun.
That's so awesome. And one of the cool things, like you mentioned, there are a few mobile bartenders that are out there, but the thing that I love about what you're doing, Paige, is the branding is so eye-catching on both Casey Cocktail Company and the Sickety Snack Bar. It's just so eye-catching. It's so beautiful, and it makes you want to know more about what's going on there. So it's so awesome. And I believe the signs, at least for Sickety Snack Bar, was made here local as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I designed the logo for the Snickety Snack Bar, but yeah, my sign was made here from a person, and then the Casey Cocktail was. This is funny, really cute story. So my maid of honor, not my maid of honor, my flower girl in my wedding 28 years ago was 2 when she was my flower girl, and she designed my logo and my branding for Casey Cocktail. So
That's
she's
awesome.
awesome. She's a graphics art designer. And Jen, if you're listening, I love you. Shout out to her.
That's so awesome. Yeah, shout out to Jen. You never know. You got to pick your flower girls right. You never know when it's going to come back around, and they'll be able to design some beautiful logos for your business. That's so awesome. I got to ask, what's the most popular drink that Casey Cocktail Company is getting requested right now?
Well, I'll tell you, the most popular drink I think we've had over time has been a drink that I thought when somebody first ordered it, I thought, oh, I don't know. They came to me and said they wanted a drink made with Earl Grey tea. I'm like, okay, that doesn't sound too great, but and gin on top of it. I don't like gin, but
Some strong flavors there.
yeah. So you wanted to come up with something fun. So it's a drink called the Windsor. It has Earl Grey tea, a lavender simple syrup, fresh squeezed lemon juice, and then gin. And you can do it with vodka as well. But I'll tell you what, when people drink that, they rave and rave and rave. So that's
Really?
probably our most popular, but there's so many. Actually, later today, I'm putting out a new menu. So there'll be some fun items on there. But when I put out a menu, I always try to tell people that is like a baby sampling of what we can do for you. There's just no limits on it. So it's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I imagine, weddings and stuff like that. I know it's real popular to have, the groom's, martini or old fashioned, and the bride's, Cosmo or whatever that is. So I could see some really cool concepts coming out of that too. And I love what you said about social media. Not only were you able you're able to talk to people across the country, but you were international and seeking advice, in different countries, which is so cool. I love that so much. So Paige, let's go ahead and get into the meat of the show here. So not Casey Cocktail Company, okay, not the Snickety Snack Bar, but who is Paige White? Give us the elevator pitch about who you are.
Well, I'm a mother of 2. I have a 28-year-old daughter and a 23-year-old son. Been married for going on 29 years here, to a great man. If anybody knows him, they would agree that I don't think you can ever say anything negative about my husband. He is just a kind human being. So I've been blessed with that. Grew up in Kansas City, wasn't born here, but did grow up here. Got two sweet baby dogs. I've got a almost 14-year-old lab, and then a 1-year-old Labradoodle who we named Remy Martin after, not the drink, but we're big KU fans. So
there you go.
Favorite thing to do, my husband and I love going out and dining. Obviously, with being in the food and beverage industry my whole life, I like to try new things, check out new cocktails. And so that's one of our most favorite things to do. So spent 27 years in the restaurant industry, started working at Pizza Hut when I was 15. So it's in my blood. I actually got out, Gino, about 10 years ago, maybe about 10 years ago, because I had 2 knee replacements, because my knees were bad. And since then I had 2 knee replacement surgeries, but I physically just couldn't do it anymore. Sold insurance for a while. And then I actually was in the credit repair world for 9 years. Loved it. I loved it. I loved helping people. We changed people's lives. It was such a wonderful blessing. I worked for another company for a while, and then I opened my own business with a couple other wonderful women. And, there were just some things about it that I decided it wasn't for me anymore. We'll just leave it at that. And decided, well, what am I going to do with myself?
Yeah, what's next?
Right. I didn't want to manage people anymore. I always say I had a hard time managing people that didn't have the same work ethic as me. And I'm not saying they didn't have work ethic. I have a hard time. I don't know. One of my greatest things about me and my worst things about me is that I have high expectations for other people, and a lot of people fail, but they're not failing. I have unrealistic expectations. So it's hard for me to manage people because, I always think I can do it better.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to sit behind a desk anymore. So that's what I decided I had to do something different. I had a girlfriend that, she had talked about going into business with me. It ended up not working out. And, anyway, I just decided to start, and I sprinted, and here I am. So it's been a lot of fun. And it was funny when you reached out to me, and you were, your story, right? Your show is called Zero to Hero. And I'm like, oh yeah, I've definitely been in the zero world. And I think I told you a little bit about that in 2008 and 2009. My husband and I was down at Capitol Grill. I was killing it, making a boatload of money. My husband's business was doing awesome. We were living it up. And then the housing market crashed, right? And I went from working 5 days a week, I'll be honest with you, making at least $250 a night, maybe getting a couple shifts and making $60. My husband lost an account that spent $80,000 with him a year, lost it overnight. And he used to sell to a bunch of mortgage brokers. That all was gone too. So we lost our house, our car, we lost everything really. And we were homeless for about 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah. So a lot of times people ask, doesn't starting these businesses, isn't that scary? Or man, you just put it all out there. Well, it's kind of easy when you lose everything, to put it in perspective. And when you don't have anything and you're living on a basement floor on a mattress, with a 13 and an 8-year-old kids and your husband, nothing really scares you. I don't want to say it doesn't scare you. That's ignorant to say that. But fear, if you're fearing something, there's probably something to it. You might want to listen to why are you fearing that? And so I'm willing to just put it all out there and go for it, because the worst thing that can happen to me above and beyond, there's worse things. Let's just be honest. I don't want to.
Sure. No, but in the moment, I totally get where you're coming from, right? That's like,
right. I can come back from that.
Right.
So if it happened again, I don't want it to happen again because it was no fun. But if it did, I was
You've been
ready
there.
to back up.
Yeah, you've been there.
Yeah.
I love that so much. I think that is, obviously we talked to a lot of entrepreneurs on this show, and it seems like the common thread is not really not having the fear, right? Because there's always going to be fear, but it's more of the courage of, to move forward anyways, right? Yes, I'm scared that I may lose everything, but I'm gonna do it anyways, because what if I don't, right? So I think that's so powerful and such a good perspective to lay out there of, I've already been there, so that we got nothing to lose. We're only going up from here. So that's such a beautiful thing to put out there, Paige. I love that so much. And there'd probably be a lot more entrepreneurs if they took that perspective of, what, so what if the worst happens? There's plenty of ways that you can dig out of it. So that's so good. Now, obviously we're a marketing company and I know you're absolutely killing it in this field, but tell us a little bit about the social media journey. What's that been like for you?
Well, so the way I started it is I knew so I had purchased my bar online from a lady in Houston who actually ended up being my mentor, and I went down to Houston and worked with her for a weekend. She allowed me to work some events. I was like, "Hey, I'll come down and I'll work some events for free for you to see kind of how you run things." And she was
Yeah.
so gracious. So Rachel, shout out to Rachel for allowing me to do that. So I purchased the bar from her because she manufactures them. And I knew it wasn't going to come for about 9 weeks. So I was like, all right, what am I going to do? I'm going to get my website going. I'm going to get, my social media handles. I got the branding done. So all those things that I knew I had to put in place. So then what I thought is, and again, I'm not trying to insult anybody else. This is just how my brain works. I didn't want to launch something with one follower because then I'm like, well, what leverage do I have, or what, presence do I have if I put something out there and I have like 1 or 2 social followers? So I started putting out a couple little things. Of course, I invited all my friends first. And then I think when I launched, I probably had about 60 followers by that time. And then just kept putting out as much content as I could. Obviously, I only had one bar at that time and no jobs. So
yeah, a little hard to find the content.
right. So my first job was my husband's birthday party we have every year on Memorial Day weekend. And so I launched and I did a video on that. And it was really cool. So my daughter filmed it and put it out there. And it was, I don't know how long it was, a little bit later, a couple months later, I had a friend reach out to me. Her name's Kay. And she said, Paige, have you seen your following on that video? And I was like, no. She's like, you have like 4,000 views. And I was like,
awesome.
oh no, I'm sure it's like 400. I said, I doubt it's like 4,000. She's like, well, you may just want to look. So I forgot about it. And a month later, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I need to look at this. And at that point in time, I had 5,200 views.
Wow.
I will tell you, I have the most amazing friends and support. If I need something shared, even if I don't need it, people just share it. I tell you what, I can't even explain how grateful I am for my community of friends, and then it's grown since I've entered into the wedding industry kind of world. Just great frienders there. We call, instead of vendors, we call them frienders. Yeah. And so just building upon that, obviously with the branding colors, like we talked about, and I try to share content that has value with like recipes and tips and stuff like that. Some videos, I really need to do more of those. I've just kind of gotten away from it because I say I'm a one-man show, but I have people that work with me, and then I just hired somebody. So just trying to build that up with the knowledge that I have. And eventually as I grow, then I can be like, all right, now I got the budget, I can hire people.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're doing a great job on your own though. And it's, I think the biggest thing, that we talk about here is, really building that online community. That's one of the main things that we talk about at J29. So to have that wherewithal to say, I can't even do an event for 9 weeks, but I need to get started now, right? And building that online community was so smart of you and so forward thinking, and it does start with friends and families a lot of times, right? When we're launching new businesses and trying to gather that following. But I love the story about the video, because video is king, and if it's cool, people will share it, whether they know you or not. If it's visually appealing and it looks cool, I shoot videos to my wife all the time. Hey, look at this, look at that, right? I mean, it's that kind of stuff when it looks cool is so powerful, and you've done a great job of looking at your Instagram. The grid looks fantastic. There are good videos on there. Same thing with the Facebook. You're keeping your people engaged, whether they're purchasing from you currently or not, right? As we know with social media, a lot of times, they'll follow you for a while, and then 6 months or a year down the road, without even liking or sharing any of your content, you get that phone call, right?
Yeah,
Hey, I've
that's
been following
true.
your content. Yeah.
Well, I've even had, it's funny, I've even had friends that are, pretty good, closer friends. They're like, I really want to hire you. I just don't have an event yet. I'm like, it's all right. Just tell people about me and get the word out there. And eventually something will come up and it'll be a perfect opportunity for you at that time.
Yeah, that's awesome. They're like, man, I just can't wait to have an event. That's so fun.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Now, Paige, every superhero has a defining moment. What do you think yours is when it comes to your life and the career?
I think probably when I didn't have a choice anymore, you have a different mindset. Um, there's no other option. I'm gonna make it work. So that, I think when I got out of the restaurant industry, and I went to work for a healthcare services group, and I actually was a dietary manager of a nursing facility. And my goal from day one was, I'm only going to do this for a year, and if I'm not promoted by then, I'm leaving. And so they were going to promote me, and they were going to give me like a ridiculous amount, like $2,000 extra a year for like crazy amount more responsibility. And that was just my time. I was like, no, I'm not going to do this. And so then I went to my husband, and I had gotten out. Remember, I had gotten out of the restaurant industry. I had knee replacement surgery in December of 2012. And I went to my husband, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And I'm going to go work for this credit repair company that my friend worked for, who ended up being one of my business partners. And it's 100% commission. And he just started his, he opened a storefront. So he had all this money put into the storefront. So we have always been very good about supporting each other's dreams. And so there was no way, after I supported all his, he was going to say no to me. Plus he knows me well enough to know that I'll make it work. So I was going to be 100% commission. So I had to go back and wait on tables again. And there's nothing wrong with waiting on tables. Obviously I'm bartending again. I'm back in the food and beverage industry, but I got out after 27 years, and I didn't want to get back in at that time. And to me, it was defeating. But it was the only way I could build the other business up enough to pay our bills. So I went back and I worked and I served. Now, mind you, I just told you I had knee replacement surgery in December. I started waiting on tables in February.
Wow.
And I was working 5 days a week at that point in time. And then I was busting my ass to make this other business work within the sales aspect of credit repair. And then I got some jobs, and then I got down to 4 days a week. Then I got some more contracts, and I went down to 3 days and a little bit more. So I was done back out of the restaurant industry by July. So from February to July, I busted my ass. I became the top producer at the other repair company. And at the end of the day, what it came down to, Gino, there was no other option. It was going to work. And so even though my passion now is in something completely different, and I'm starting these other businesses, because I actually have a third business too. even though it's a completely different arena, it's still the same mindset. I have no other choice. This is going to work because now this is going to be my legacy and my future that I don't want to, I love bartending. I love it. It's so much fun, but I don't want to bartend when I'm, 60 years old.
Right.
I want to get it built up so I can have amazing people working alongside me and they can do all the hard work.
Right. Yeah. Let the kids out there and, get out there and handle the events. You stay back and call the shots. I love that.
Yeah, you got it.
And it is such a powerful mindset. And I love that, I love when people take a step back to move forward sometimes, right? I mean, that's sometimes very necessary. And I think sometimes pride gets in the way of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, eat it. Our founder, Kevin, he'll tell you that story a million times, almost in the exact same shoes of, very different circumstances,
Yeah.
but, having to start back over, and serving chicken at his college, where people know him and know what he had already done. So, it's swallow that pride, and get out there and just make it happen. I love that so much. And
pride is ego, and ego is evil.
Absolutely.
So and yeah, I love that. Like you said, just eat it, let it go, and move forward.
Do what you need to do. Yeah, don't worry about what everybody thinks or what they want to talk about. Just let them do that on their own. You worry about yourself. So, and the next question, you kind of segued into that a little bit, just by talking about some of the things that you experienced there. But what are the attributes that you feel define a hero?
I would say probably nothing in the business world. I would say somebody that is willing to put themselves out there to cheerlead for other people and support one another, and listen. One of the things that I think is really important for me in what I do is little things, like really small, simple things. Like if I'm thinking about somebody, I will actually stop what I'm doing right then and there and shoot them a text. And that's literally all I say is, hey, you were on my heart today. I just wanted to say hi. So I think a hero is just somebody that is willing to be there for somebody else in no matter what circumstance it is, and lifting people up. I think that's
so powerful. Yeah, I love that you do that. That is so cute that you just hey, I'm thinking about you. That's I think I have maybe 3 people in my life that I do that for, and I'm like conscious about it. But I love that. I need to do that more often because you often get lost in your own life, right? And people need that text every once in a while, whether you know it or not. I'm sure a few of your friends will be like, you know what, that just changed my day. That Paige is thinking about me and texted me. That's so awesome.
Well, I'm an empath, first off, but I'm just a big believer that God gives us the whispers for a reason. People aren't coming across our mind for just because, in my opinion. Now, you can think whatever you want, but in my opinion, and I did learn this. This is a life lesson I learned with the whole becoming homeless and all that type of stuff. I'm a go-getter. I will tell you what, there are very few people that work harder than me. And I will say that and stand by it. Does that mean I'm better than anybody? No, it means I'm obsessive and compulsive. Let's be honest. But back in the day, I would do things and I would build our family up, build finances. Not that my husband wasn't working his ass off, but I would just push, and then I get knocked down. Well, I pick myself back up and push, and then I get knocked down over and over again. And there was a point in time, this is obviously when we lost everything. And I was just down on my knees crying. And that was the point in my life. I was like, I'm not doing any of this. I got to ask God to help me with this. And when I finally realized I was not the one building myself up, it was with God's help, that was a huge moment in my life that I was able to say, you got this. And that's another reason why I don't fear. What am I fearful for? He's got it.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. It's so freeing, right? When you realize that I'm powerless, right? I mean, I feel like I kind of share this with you. I feel like there's certain choices that you can make, right? I feel like there's like big ones, right, that can kind of guide it. But at the end of the day, you're playing somebody else's game. I think that's really what it comes down to. He's got a plan for you, and you're gonna go the way that he's gonna go. He gives you a little bit of illusion of choice from time to time, but you're gonna go where he wants you to go. So
That's
that's
right.
so good. That's so good. All right, Paige. Well, last question for you. If you had to pick a superhero, any superhero that relates best to you, who would you pick, and tell us a couple reasons why?
I mean, oh, I think it ultimately, for me and my age, it has to be Wonder Woman.
Love it.
I mean, at the point where women were, more just, oh God, I just want to phrase this in the right way, because I wish that I could have stayed at home with my kids. Like, I wish that I could have had that opportunity. So when I say it was at a time where women were at home and not working, and she was out there kicking ass and taking names, I don't want it to make it sound like that is the best thing to do, because if I could do it all over again, Gino, I would have stayed home with my kids. But with that being said, because my drive and my ambition and the way I am in life and the way my brain never ever shuts off, I see Wonder Woman as an example of power for women, and get out and, like I said, kick down doors, kick ass, take names, and be an inspiration to other people.
Absolutely. And Wonder Woman keeps it real, right? She's got the lasso of truth, and you definitely exemplify that for sure. You're definitely a real one, and you put it out there authentically, which I love so much. So that's a
Thank
great
you.
answer. 100% see that. So Paige, how can people get in touch with, let's start with KC Cocktail Company. So how can people get a hold of you? How can they keep up with what you're doing? How can they hire you?
Yeah, absolutely. So KC Cocktail Company website is kccocktailco.com. And then social media is at KC Cocktail Company. Now, if you type in KC Cocktail Company, as far as the website goes, you'll still get my same website. But so you can follow me. I also have a newsletter. I'm going to start pushing that out a little bit more because I post recipes and tips and stuff like that. But any insight or suggestions or recipes you'd like to see or created, reach out to me. And Snickety Snack Bar, social media is the Snickety Snack Bar, and then also website. Now, the website, actually, I have some progression I'm doing on that today. It's pretty basic right now. So don't look at it and be like, wow, that's really janky. I just launched the business a few months ago, so it is kind of janky at this point in time, but the goal is to get it moving in the right direction. Phone number for either business is 816-456-4388. And if you don't mind, can I give a shout out to my third business?
Please, go ahead.
So we have a small transportation company. It's TC Transportation KC. We're just individually owned, just a couple vehicles. We have a minibus and a transit van with limo style seating. So we're never going to do huge shuttles, but we do concerts, sporting events, wedding shuttles, and our prices are usually going to beat everybody else's because we are a real small company. But you can reach me at the same phone number there, the 816-456-4388.
Beautiful. So yeah, if you need a mobile bartender, if you need mobile snack bar, or you need transportation anywhere, save that number, give Paige a call. Definitely. She will take care of you, and she'll work harder than anybody else doing it. I promise you that. So Paige, thank you so much for coming on. You've been an awesome guest.
Well, thank you for having me. I truly appreciate it. I love being able to share my story. I think anybody that shares their story gives power to other people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Love it. Well, everybody out there, thanks for tuning in, and have a great day.
Thanks, Gina.
Hey, are we still live? Hey guys, we're still live. Hey guys, this is Kevin Kwok, founder of J29 Creative Group. So who are we? We're a marketing agency here in Kansas City. We're all about a holistic approach to marketing that builds your brand and nurtures online community. But to be honest with you, you guys don't care.